Can you see this?
What is going on? You have like fireworks and stuff.
It's like recognizing my fingers and doing like, I don't know how to turn this off. Is it an Apple thing? I hate it. I'll be in the calls with people and then this is happening all the time.
Leave it, it's gotta make the show.
Hey guys, welcome to the next Critique the Community. Today we're going to be critiquing photographs of great outdoors. And if you'd like to be a part of the next critique, you can join right now at fstoppers.com/contests. The genre for next month is abstract photography. So maybe beautiful looking things that you're not exactly sure what you're looking at. And each one of the top 3 winners, first, second, and third place, will get a free tutorial from fstoppers.com/store.
And every month we usually put a big tutorial on sale, but for the summer, we're doing a huge sale on the entire catalog within the Fstoppers store. So if you want to get a bunch of tutorials, head over to fstoppers.com/store and you can get bigger savings the more you add to your cart.
Cool, let's get into this critique. All right, this is the first image today. This is by Justin Bradley. And does this really fall under the great outdoors, a fake man-made wave pool? Who chose these?
I chose them.
Yeah.
There were so many landscapes, and I was like, man, we can't just have all landscapes. And so the theme, you know, great outdoors, it's up for interpretation. So it's also kind of summertime. I felt like this fit the theme. You don't agree?
I don't know. I was hoping that you could justify yourself. My next question is this even a good photo?
I really liked the tonalities of it. It felt kind of retro and interesting.
I agree. I do kind of like the lighting and the color tones and everything. It's kind of got that, I don't even know how to explain it, that like Miami vibe or something.
If you go to the contest itself and you look at all of the submissions and you try to find pictures that just weren't landscapes, I don't know what happened this month. We had a lot of submissions, but I felt very uninspired by the breadth of, you know, the width of the number of images that were submitted. It just kind of felt like they were all over the top dramatic landscapes. So I dug a little deep. And for those that complain their images only get rated 2 and 3 stars, well, this one was probably in the top 100. Sounds like you don't like it.
I'm not a huge fan. We always get complainers, you know, oh, you know, my ratings on my image have been sabotaged. You know, they're trying to push my incredible work of art to the bottom so that Lee and Patrick don't pick it, which is silly. The picture's just always not good. But here's one that's, I would imagine, was not towards the top. And you've made it into the critique. So if I had to rate this, I don't know. It's hard for me to give this 3 stars. I mean, I kind of lean towards 2. I do like the girl in the foreground. That definitely adds a bit of interest to it. I like the composition and the leading lines, but just the subject matter itself and the power lines in the back and the ugly letters and the sign and stuff back there, it's just because of the subject matter, it's hard for me to rate this highly.
Are we gonna rate it, or you don't feel comfortable either?
I just gave it 2 stars.
Okay, well, I was gonna give it kind of a 3 for some sort of like lifestyle Instagram account. Like, I don't know, it's not the worst photo. It's not super inspiring, but I like the colors. I like that the subject is in shade. It's just different. I don't know, there's something about it that I find kind of enjoyable. I don't know, I think for the right portfolio, maybe like this could be a 3, but it's not gonna win any major awards or anything. It's not gonna be some image that, you know, you put on the front of your website, that's for sure.
Well, I think that's my hesitation. I mean, if you were hired by some magazine to do a story on this new wave pool, I feel like this is fantastic. But is the image good enough to stand alone on your website as like, this is what I do? That's where I struggle to give it the 3, which we usually say means it's like, ready for a professional photographer's portfolio. So I'm sticking with my 2 for right now. Next up.
All right.
Now, I although we cannot see the outdoors, I guess we have to assume this was taken outdoors.
Yeah, so the outdoors, like in picking these images, it's like, does it represent travel? Does it represent being outside and adventure and exploring? Or does it need to be a landscape? Or there was a lot of like pets and dogs and stuff. To me, this, I don't know, when I looked at this one, I was like, it's not, again, as highly rated as some of the other ones, but I think just the color and the composition, it just resonated with me.
I think it's beautiful. It can't be real, right?
Why can't this be real?
What do you think's going on here? They're setting up in the morning and they're gonna launch once the sun comes up?
Yeah, they're probably all taking off in the morning for a sunrise shoot or a sunrise ride, and this is the picture you took right before they take off. Are you about to say there's some funny business going on with this image?
Well, yeah, I don't know if it was last month or the month before that, but we had somebody that was doing those black and white architectural pictures where, you take a picture of a skyscraper and then you cut out the skyscraper and you make the sky like ultra dark.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering, did they do anything like that here? It just something about the way the shadows are falling off on the sides of the balloon do not look real to me at all.
The shadows.
Like I don't think like look at the blue balloon that's right in the middle in the back.
Yeah.
See how there's still information on the top of the balloon?
Okay.
How could there possibly be light on the top of the balloon, but no light in the sky behind the balloon? It just doesn't add up.
Well, the flame is illuminating the inside of a balloon, and so part of the flame is hitting the top. And when there's lighter colors, they're illuminated more than darker colors. I mean, the fall off should be, it's always brightest, closest to the flame, and then it gets darker, right? But if the color itself is a lighter color, then I can see where that's going to be lit up. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. I feel like this all looks pretty natural to me.
Really? I mean, I just, when I look at the fall off of the shadow on the balloon on the very far left, and we see the bright colors on the bottom left of the balloon, and then we look to the upper area of the balloon, it's very dark. There's a huge fall off. That kind of feels more realistic to me. And then when I look at that blue one in the middle, it just looks like there's too much data in the shadows to be real to me. Now, maybe he just recovered that.
Yeah.
But I'm reading his explanation here, and I believe this is a real event. So I'm gonna guess that there's just some editing going on, but I think it's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, I really like this. You want to rate it?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Just throw a number out. I'm giving it a 3.
3 is what I'm giving it.
Yeah, it's like a fun little editorial shot that could live on Instagram or something. I don't know that this is going to be, again, on the front of your website, but as a standalone image and with a theme like outdoors, not knowing what kind of portfolio that really belongs in, I think it's a cool photo. And it's...
Did you see the hot air balloon on Reddit last week that caught on fire and just plummets out of the earth, and you're just plummets down to the earth, and you're just seeing the people falling out of the basket? It's horrifying.
I didn't see that one. The one that I see a lot is on Facebook, where there's a guy at the top and he's arguing with the operator because he's about to jump off with a parachute. And the guy is like, you can't do it. And he's like, I have 2,000 skydives under my belt. It's going to be okay. And he's like, we will lose our license. We can't do it. We can't do it. And everyone in the comments is like, what the skydiver doesn't realize is that he will probably be fine. But when you have calculated the perfect lift and everything, when you drop off 200 pounds from the basket, all of a sudden the balloon's going to go up a lot, right? And so all of a sudden,
I haven't thought about that.
When the balloon goes up, the balloon can actually like implode, and everyone on the hot air balloon could actually die. And so whether or not that's true or not, there was a huge debate about it. But anyway, I've seen that video pop up a few times, and it's just, the guy is like literally grabbing the skydiver from jumping out, and all the other people in the balloon are scared and like not sure what to do and arguing with him. And
so did the guy ever jump?
No, the guy never jumped out, but it's kind of just a reflection of our society where people are so self-centered that they're like, I'm going to sneak on this hot air balloon and then jump off to skydive and have this experience without totally thinking through all the consequences. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to find that video. Maybe you can go on YouTube and look it up.
Next, this is an outdoor photograph.
They're all outdoor photographs.
Maybe. That last one looked like it was taken in a gymnasium or something, but I know that can't be true. I think this is beautiful. I'm having a little hard time understanding where the body of this buck is. Like, does his body go to the left behind that bush?
I almost think his body is straight behind him and you can't quite see it, but he is blending in with the guy on the left.
Yeah, that's probably what I like least about this photograph. But man, just the lighting, the haze, the little drips of rain, the beautiful trees in the background, and that crazy looking brush in the foreground. It's just incredible.
What's wild about this is when you said you can't read the main deer's body, I was thinking, could you just burn in the deer behind him, assuming these are deer or elk or something? Could you burn that in so that the main guy stands out a little bit more? And as I started thinking about that, I was like, wait a minute, what is going on with their fur? And if you look at every one of these animals, it's like, it's either a Photoshop mistake that's consistent throughout the whole photo, or this specific animal has very dark fur on the front of his stomach and leading up to his back, but then every one of them is very light-skinned or furred. I don't know what you call it, but you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying. Yeah, that's very strange. And that's part of the optical illusion of why I can't see this one's body. But I love that idea. If you just went in and you darken just the edge of that far left deer, his back of his body, just to separate him from that buck, I feel like that would be a huge improvement, and that that would take 20 seconds
if
to
they
do.
all have lighter fur on the back, like you're kind of ruining.
It could look like a shadow,
Yeah. I wonder what's going on here. Like, I've never been in a situation where I've seen so many deer all in one place, It's almost like this is a farm or something. Like, what? How lucky are you to have them all congregate in one spot?
All right, are you ready to rate it?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. 4 stars from me.
I threw a 3, but I meant to throw a 4. I don't know what I'm thinking. I was too concentrated on us trying to count at the same time that I threw a 3.
I know. And for anyone watching right now, we can't see each other and me look at the image at the exact same time. So we're having to do this blind right now. But I love everything about this image except for the buck's body. That's just the way it is. But you have to imagine this photographer probably got 200 images of this. So I just, I'm curious if there happens to be a better shot or like just a better shot of the buck that you could Photoshop into one, just to get his body to show a little bit more. But either way, awesome shot. Next up. Now, this is abstract.
This would be perfect for the next contest.
I am literally jumping back and forth between this is the eye of an animal to this is some sort of like geyser or something.
Yeah.
And I am now reading that, yes, a geothermal area in Iceland.
Yeah.
That is super interesting.
It looks like the eye of an octopus or something, some kind of underwater creature that's able to change color or is translucent or something. That's wild.
Yeah, super cool. Now, the question becomes, what do you do with this image? Like, is it beautiful enough to just be fine art and hang on the wall? Or is the target aspect of this thing a little bit too imposing? Like, I almost wonder if you just zoomed in to, that like the white lightning bolt stuff that looks like it's on the right.
Yep.
If that alone could be more interesting and artistic than the entire thing. Like the fact that it's so symmetrical, I don't like fine art images as much that are symmetrical.
I see what you're saying. You just kind of want that center a little off center.
I mean, partly or like ignore the center and just get the interesting, I don't know what that is. Are they like little, paths of rivers or something? It's just
as Elia Licardi would say, it's tendrils. They are tendrils of something, salt.
Or they are historical artifacts of tendrils, yes. Are you ready to rate this?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
I'm going to give it a 4 as well.
I'm going 3.
I really like this.
Okay, I'm in between a 3 and a 4. I like it too. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
I don't know how I feel about it always pushing me towards, like, even though I know it's not an animal, my mind is being fooled to constantly keep thinking that it is an animal. It's like a rhino or something. And I'm like, what? Why does my mind want to make this something that I know that it's absolutely not?
I think it's the darkening around that light area. It just looks like an eye socket. It is very strange. No matter what I tell myself, I keep thinking it's like an elephant or something.
Yeah.
And then I have to be like, no, it's not an elephant.
But that's kind of it's kind of cool, right? Like,
yeah,
it's weird to have something play games with you so much. This was shot from a drone. I mean, obviously, or is the helicopter ride? Or
he doesn't say, but it had to be. Yeah. On a completely separate note, the fact that this is in Iceland. I am probably one day away from finishing the first draft of a movie script that partly takes place in Iceland.
Really? You've been working on a movie script?
Yes. I have been writing for like 5 to 6 hours a day for, I don't know, a week now. And I'm almost done. I mean, obviously it's rough draft and I've just got a long way to go to fine tune it. It's a lot longer than I need it to be right now. But it's this like sci-fi story. I don't want to give away too much right now. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because I have always been interested in the movie industry. And I even have some friends that are kind of work in the movie industry. And I just want to get my toes wet a little bit more. You know, I know it's a long shot that this thing would ever get produced. I don't even know if it's good yet. But if anybody's watching this and you have some connection in the movie industry, I would love to just come and assist on a project. I don't need money. I've got money. I just want the experience. I want to see how people are doing this stuff at the highest level. I just recently watched the new Mission Impossible movie, and it just blows my mind, you know, what they're doing. And I want to see kind of behind the scenes on how it all works. So if anybody needs an extra hand, I have no experience in the movie industry, but I have a lot of experience like in the running and gunning video industry. And I know just enough that I can kind of be like a helper for people. So reach out to me, lee@fstoppers.com. We can move on.
I wonder, well, this is an interesting conversation because I wonder if you see certain shots and you think, how did they do that? And maybe that's what's making you really excited about this, because I was recently just on a set. I was on I hope an episode of Southern Charm. They filmed that here in Charleston. I'm not in the episode, but I was there on the set. And a friend of ours, Keith Bradshaw, plays guitar. He has been working with one of the cast members, and they did like a musical thing. They performed in front of a small audience, and they filmed it. And the whole time I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, this is all so insane. They have, I don't know if anyone out there would recognize this, but like, you know the size of this room, right? This venue is about twice the size of the room that I'm sitting in, maybe 30 people in there. And they have 5 camera crews, huge cameras, the biggest grip you've ever seen, the sound guy with like 30 channels and mics everywhere. And I'm just thinking, it feels like spray and pray. They are all filming something else. And I'm thinking, this is going to be like 30 seconds if it makes the show, right? It just felt so over the top.
This is a reality show. So they have to be ready at a moment's notice for something to happen. And like, we have to get that when it happens because that's what the show is, right?
Yeah, so it's a little different. It's not like, hey, we have a script and we're going to film this one single shot. But in many cases, I could see them. I guess what I'm just saying is that I could see you going on set and being like, nothing happened today. They filmed this one thing that was not impressive at all. And I was expecting there to be all this coaching with the talent and getting the lines right and the crazy camera movement and like all this stuff. And then you just leave saying like, that felt incredibly easy and incredibly wasteful. Look at all the catering and the people, and why did it take, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, for a reality show, you could be filming this on GH6s and, you know, whatever. It's like, it just feels like the easiest thing ever. And the production is just so big. And I'm looking at the expenses of hiring all these people. You know, they must have had 20 people there, like syncing up stuff and like planning tomorrow's, it was just like, this feels like it should be way easier than it should be. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's a whole different thing. And I actually have been interested in reality show production as well. A lot of my questions come down to the audio. How in the world are you miking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50? I don't know if you saw the Beast Games show that's on Amazon. Mr. Beast did this.
No, but David tried to get on that, right?
Yeah, right. He applied for it. So I watched a couple of episodes. I believe the first episode had 1,000 contestants live.
Okay.
Like each one with their own little command station, and they're like talking to cameras and stuff. And I'm watching, and each person has their own GoPro on them, but then they also have their own professional audio on them somehow. And they weren't moving, so I thought, all right, maybe they've mic'd the stand on that episode. But then in the next episode, there's 500 contestants, and they're all running around. And I'm like, do they have 500 wireless lavs on? I mean, we can't get our lavs to work with just one of them. Like, we'll get some sort of crazy interference or whatever. So the idea that you could have 500 people mic'd at one time, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And then from a movie standpoint, I'm just very interested in capturing clean audio in different environments. This room right here that I'm in right now is a concrete prison. And the only reason it sounds as clean as it does is because I spent over a month just putting more and more soft stuff. Like I've drilled it into the ceiling to make it sound like this. But if you just show up to some location and you have to shoot, and it's echoey, I want to know what these sound people are doing. So anyway,
yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see
this,
but I had a huge microphone right over my head. Everybody that was important had a lav. I don't know, the guy was running, I don't know the machine, but it's like 20 channels, and he's got the big thing in front of him, and he's got the head, and every single person had a mic on him. So somehow they are doing, I don't know about 500 or 1,000, that seems crazy. It almost makes me think they know who is going to advance, but then that wouldn't be a fair contest. I don't know.
Right. It's unbelievable. But anyway, moving on. Here is another shot of the great outdoors. It feels like I've seen this shot 1,000 times, but I bet I've just seen 1,000 photographs just like this.
So what I don't understand is we live with beautiful beaches, maybe not at this moment. You could speak more on that here in a second. But what I've noticed...
It's the worst I've ever seen, but sorry, go ahead.
What I've noticed is if you want to shoot water like this, one, you need clear water and like beautiful white sand and everything, but it never occurs at the end or the beginning of the day. Normally, if I was to shoot at the end of the day, all the water is black, right? Because of refraction, and it's just not illuminating the water. So normally you would want to shoot this shot with the sun directly above you, which is typically the worst time to shoot other things. But when the sun is high, it's illuminating the entire seabed, and it creates this look. But when you're shooting at the end of the day, especially into the sun, it makes me wonder how much dodging and burning and recovery have they done to make it look like that beautiful? Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. Something about this doesn't feel natural to me. It almost feels like either the sky has been replaced to put the sun back there, but it doesn't look particularly good, so I don't think the photographer did that. Or the water, no matter how clear it is, I'm just guessing it had to be a lot darker than that, and he just recovered that data.
Yeah, like the dynamic range here, you should have your cameras trying to stop down for the sun, and then your foreground and everything underwater would go black. Or the opposite, you get the beautiful blue water, but the sky is white. Something about that doesn't make any sense to me. Does he explain anything about this photo?
So he does. He says he used photo pills to check exactly where the sun was going to come up. So he got in before sunrise, and immediately the stingrays and nurse sharks showed up. This was in Grand Cayman, by the way, at Stingray City. I think we've been there. And I think we played with these stingrays ourselves. But so it sounds like he planned this from the very beginning.
But he
He's
doesn't
purposefully shot into the sun.
he doesn't mention anything about the exposure and how he pulled this off.
This part is a little difficult to understand. He says he was shooting with a Nikon D810, 18 to 35 millimeter in an Icolite housing, with 2 CNC strobes, but then he doesn't mention if he was using the strobes. And so maybe that's the dynamic range funny business that we're seeing.
The strobes aren't lighting up the other Stingray back there in the background. Like, I could understand if the Stingray in the front was super bright and then everything behind him is black. That would make sense. But I mean, the strobes
you could
be
argue
adding
that
a
this
little.
Stingray. Yeah, you could argue that he has it really, really low power and it's just barely lighting up that Stingray. I mean, that makes sense to me.
That does, but it still doesn't explain how all the rest of the scene has this beautiful color and lightness to it. I don't know.
I mean, it does kind of feel like those reflections on the ground don't feel like they make sense from the direction of the sun. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels like they're being projected straight down. I'm not saying I think this is fake or anything, but there's something different going on about it. And every time we see an incredible underwater photo, Patrick and I like saying that we have tried underwater photography multiple times with the whole gear, the lights, everything, and we have failed miserably every time. I've never gotten a single photo under the water that I'm happy with. So,
but I have to say, this image, I mean, if you saw this in Grand Cayman and it's like, hey, come dive with the Stingrays, like, it's a great looking shot for travel and leisure and marketing. I think this is a great shot. Have we rated this?
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna go 3 stars. I don't know that this is mind-blowing, but like you said, it's a solid image. Next up.
Now, what's interesting about this critique is that so far everything is very natural light and very landscape, wildlife. But the winner of this is going to get a studio strobe. We haven't even talked about that, right? The Godox 8600 Pro 2. So it'll be interesting to see, how any of these photographers will utilize the strobe when it feels like everyone in here is kind of doing natural light photography.
Now, did Godox specifically ask for this genre?
Yes, they wanted the outdoors. So I was hoping to include more people, maybe like more travel and commercial work that's outside, but very few people submitted that kind of imagery.
That's funny. Godox probably had in mind outdoor portraits, and then we just got a lot of landscapes and animal photos, but still cool. All right, let's look at this next shot here. I have recently been doing lots of bird photos, and I love this one. I mean, so much of it, especially with these new cameras and the pre-capture and all this stuff, it just kind of comes down to luck to an extent. Like, put yourself in the right place, and then you're just waiting for the animals to do something unique. And then the fact here that we have 3 all interacting with each other, all with different wing shapes, is just beautiful. I love it.
So I feel like it used to be luck on top of luck. The first luck is you hope the animals do something interesting. And then the second luck is that you shooting 5 or 10 frames a second, you actually are prepared and get the shot, right? I know, what is it? Opportunity is like luck and preparation combined or something. I've probably butchered that phrase. But
you ain't gonna fool me twice.
With faster cameras now, you're diminishing the luck that you need to actually capture the image. And now you just need the animals or the wildlife to do something interesting. I keep looking at this thinking, I just want some little fish or shrimp. Like, I want the guy on top to be feeding the other bird. I don't know why my mind goes there.
All you gotta do, bring this into Photoshop, little square marquee.
That doesn't count.
Generative fill, dropping shrimp, and boom, it'll be the most perfect little shrimp with all the little water droplets just dropping right down into that bird's mouth, and it'll be a world-class image.
This one's really nice, though. I think, the three birds in one frame, all doing something different. Like you said, their wingspan is all different and interesting, and if any one of them was removed, I feel like I wouldn't really like this as much. Maybe I could get rid of the one on the far left, but without the top or the bottom one, this doesn't really hold up to me.
Let's rate it. 3, 2, 1. I'm going 4 stars on this one.
And I went 4 as well. How far off do you think the camera is from the water line? Are we talking inches here?
After about 30 minutes of waiting, lying on the beach, this was the shot I finally managed to get. Shot with the Nikon D500 at 500 millimeters. So he says laying on the beach. So I don't know if that means laying on his butt and leaning back or laying on his stomach leaning forward, but he's pretty low.
And now that he says beach, it makes me wonder, what I thought was water, is that just white sand like you might see in the panhandle of Florida? Or is that actually water? When I zoom in all the way, I mean, it's kind of hard to understand what it is I'm looking at. I assumed it was water.
He says he's on the beach in Staten Island, so I'm gonna guess it's water. Next up.
Any new hot sauce stories? How is everything going? I know you were doing really well and very optimistic after the holiday season, but now we are 6 months later. Are things slow? I've noticed the rating is going down a little bit, and everything kind of depends on your rating as well. So how is Oliveum doing over the summer?
Definitely very slow. I ended up cutting all ads, which was the only lifeblood of the business before I launched my little bottle. So right now on Amazon, I'm selling like maybe on average 10, 12 bottles a day, but I'm also buying like the Amazon PPC ads. I cut the Facebook and Google ads. So at this very moment, I am profitable, but it's just so little. And then my sale, because I've stopped advertising, the sales on my website have dropped to 0. So I'm about to try to relaunch that and see if I can like kickstart that back up. And then I guess my only hope is go hard for Christmas. It's like the ultimate Christmas gift for hot sauce lovers, but it's probably too expensive for just a casual hot sauce lover. So I hope that I can sell a lot over Christmas. But I've got like 12,000 more units that I have to go through before I can decide that, hey, I'm gonna quit this once and for all. So I still have a lot more work to do. So I'm plugging along.
See, I'm at a different stage than you are, but to be where you're at and have made the videos and put all the time into it and like to get through Christmas and then decide it's not worth making the next order, that's gonna be pretty painful, I'd imagine.
Well, that's what's so wild is like, I have done an insane amount of work to get to this point. And truthfully, it's not that hard now, right? Like I just have manufacturers that like make all the parts and I ship them to the co-packer who then packs it and ships it to Amazon. And then Amazon distributes it, but every single person is like taking cut. And then when you add the advertising costs on top of that, now I'm not making any money. Now I'm losing money. So, yeah, it's wild to think that I could have put in this much work and then I just decide, you know what, I'm just gonna quit now. That's very much a real possibility, but like I said, I've sold 8,000 bottles now. And I've got 12,000 more to go before I am allowed to quit.
I know
so it's still a long way.
We get so many comments on that video you did about, can you even make this stuff in America anymore? But it is wild to think that you can sell 8,000 bottles and it's a failure or it's not worth pursuing or you're not profitable. Like that's a lot of inventory. Like I feel like that's like a success story, but it sounds like it may not be. It's just kind of wild to hear numbers like that.
Yeah, it's very funny to, read everybody outraged that the hot sauce costs $40. And right now, if anybody's interested, it's on sale on Amazon at this very moment for $30, I think. Maybe even a little less. Might be $27 at this very moment. I'm just doing pricing tests right now, but it's interesting and entertaining to read, everybody outraged by the price. I get it. The price is incredibly high. But then I think to myself, yes, but I'm over $100,000 in debt. So like people are outraged by the price because they think I'm getting rich. But little do they know, it is the opposite. I am lighting money on fire to sell it at $40 a bottle. And so I don't know if I can be profitable at $30 a bottle, but
do you think
it's a test right now, so if you want to try it, now's the time.
Maybe this is another video we need to make, but like, do you think that this will taint all future product developments that you might have to sell on Amazon? Or do you think that I went into this with a luxury hot sauce brand that's completely different than some other thing that you might find passion in creating down the road? Or is it I don't think I ever want to get into the physical product business ever again? Do you know if you're forming an opinion there?
I have learned an incredible amount. One of the things that I've learned is that Amazon is not what it used to be. And as you know, Patrick, and some of the people who have been following this story, I live down here in Puerto Rico with a bunch of very successful Amazon gurus, literally houses away from me. And I can just call them up whenever I want and ask them questions, and they will give me the answers of how they've made millions of dollars selling knickknacks on Amazon. All of them that I have recently spoken to are like, man, Amazon's dead. I'm selling my business. I'm getting out of this. I'm moving to my own personal Shopify website. Amazon's just charging too many fees. The only way to get on to Amazon now is to pay for the pay-per-click, but then Amazon takes all the profit if that's what you do, and that's what I've been doing. And so everybody's just so jaded. They're basically saying the only one making money anymore is Bezos himself. So, they're trying to move to TikTok. They're trying to move to Shopify. And I'm like, well, guys, you could have warned me before I put years and $100,000 into this stupid project. But like I said, I have not yet given up.
I wonder if things can still be as successful on, your own Shopify platform, because obviously Amazon is making or breaking most products out there. But
I think the benefit of selling it directly to the customer is that you capture the customer's information. You can re-market to them, like you can email blast them after the fact, and you can capture emails and contact information of people who are interested but not ready to buy today. And then in a week, a month, a year, they get an email blast and now they are ready to buy. Maybe now they want to buy it for a friend or family member or whatever. And none of that will ever happen on Amazon because they hide the customer data. So everybody says if you're capable of selling direct to customer, it's far more lucrative than Amazon. But Amazon is the greatest place on earth to find customers that are willing to buy right now. So a lot of times if people come directly to oliveum.com, they're just kind of surfing the internet, they might just see an ad and click on it because it's interesting.
Yeah.
Or they might just be, looking up hot sauce because they're bored or they want to cook it themselves. There's a million reasons. But if somebody goes on Amazon and types in hot sauce, 99% of the time, they just want to buy hot sauce. And when you make your baby bib, I would suggest having a website as an option in case, you can funnel people that way. But there's a lot of moms that don't have time to do all the crazy research and they just want to go on Amazon and buy the one with the best rating. So if you can get there without China swooping in and just copying the exact same thing, then, maybe you could have a hit.
There are a lot of crazy moms out there willing to do all of the research, I think.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for another day. Let's move on.
All right, here is another super cool shot. This feels very much like Iceland, but I'm trying to remember if there were seagulls in Iceland.
Oh, yeah, I think there were.
And there were?
Well, that main waterfall, what is the name? I used to know them all, but it's been a little while since we've been, but the one that everybody goes to, it's right off the road that you stand in front of, and it's got I feel like it's the most iconic waterfall in all of Iceland. I feel like there was all kinds of birds flying around there, right?
Maybe so, but it doesn't matter because this was taken at Snoqualmie Falls in Washington State.
Okay. Halfway across the world. I like how just abstract this is, It's not showing the top of the waterfall. It's not overly processed to where the blacks are crushed and, it just looks super HDR and everything. It's just got it's got some mood to it and it's very monochromatic. And then it has this one seagull that just adds a little element to it. I think like I said before, if you remove that seagull like the previous image, I think it loses a lot.
I think it loses everything, which is so interesting because it's not like it's a good image of a bird, right? It's just like a stereotypical image of any bird. It may not even really be in focus. But if you take that bird out, this entire image falls apart. It's garbage at that point. Are you ready to rate it?
I think I'm ready.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I'm between a 3 and a 4. What do you give it?
3 stars. I'm giving it 3.
Is there anything you could think that would make this better? Do you like the water on the bottom, or is there a way to crop past that and make it even a little bit more abstract?
I don't think so. I think the water on the bottom is important to kind of anchor the whole image. You want to know mostly what you're looking at. So no, I like the composition just the way it is. All right, let's move on. This is very interesting.
Do you know the shot that everyone takes? It's like somewhere in Ireland or something, and it's a road, but it's got the trees like this.
No.
There's like a landscaper's shot that everybody takes. It's overly done. This reminds me a lot of that, but it also reminds me of some of the incredible hikes we did in Patagonia, where you just see trees that are unlike anything you've ever seen before. This has that magical feel to it.
So this was taken by Chris Bryant, and this was taken in Wales. And he said he was hiking in the rain, and obviously fog as well. And because it was raining, he didn't want to take his pro camera out of the bag. So he just shot this on his iPhone.
Oh, this is an iPhone photo? Wow.
Yeah. And, it just goes to show you. People ask me, they're like, oh, Lee, you're a professional photographer. What camera should I buy? And I'm like, you're not going to be happy with my answer. And they're like, why? Yeah, no, I will. What do you think? And I'm like, just get an iPhone. Everybody I talk to who thinks they want a big pro camera because they like the idea of it, but they're not actually interested in photography. They just kind of like the idea of nice pictures. They use that thing for 1 or 2 weeks and then they never take it out again. But every single person with a smartphone, you might take pictures every day, and it's with you all the time. It's waterproof. They're freaking amazing now. Like, I remember, I need to give Apple an apology. I remember a few phones ago, they released a wide angle lens or ultra wide angle lens for the first time that had macro ability. And I think in my review or preview of the camera in the video, I was like, I can't think of a situation that I'm going to want to take macro photos with my phone. I take macro photos with my phone all the time. I love it. And the truth is, I've recently needed to take some more professional macro shots. I don't have a lens capable of doing that here. So I have to buy a new lens or I have to get B&H to loan me one. And so recently I'm like, well, I don't have anything else. I guess I just have to use my phone, and the phone did great. So I'm sorry, Apple. I should have trusted you.
And it's so convenient because you can capture, little serial numbers, or you're ever trying to read like really fine print that you just can't read. Your phone can capture that.
Yes.
I recently had, this is another crazy thing. I recently had a Ledger, which is like a USB drive that holds all your crypto on. And I was like, you know what? Let me just log in and check on how the crypto world's going. And I pull this Ledger out and it's got an LCD screen on it. It was so dim that I could not read how to enter it. And so for a while, I was like having a little heart attack. I was like, man, I might have all my crypto lost because I don't remember how to, create a new key because I don't know if I have the password stuff. And so I read about it and people were like, oh, this happens on those ledgers, but pull your phone out. And my phone's camera could just reveal the low light and I could easily operate the Ledger. So I had to buy a new one and move everything over to another cold wallet. But the convenience of just having all of that on a phone, because like you said, you have to own a specific macro lens and you have to go find it and put it on. And then usually that's one focal length. And if that's not the right focal length, you're still wishing for something else. I feel like the The iPhone is pretty incredible. Unless you want to do flash photography. And I know right now I feel like flash photography's kind of out of flavor. A lot of people, they want these like natural lit shots and even like the retro look. I see people who like they want the iPhone 4. That's like this weird trend that's going on now where like they want something to look retro. But if you want to get into flash photography, I feel like you just got to get, a professional camera. Or at least an entry-level camera.
At the moment. Yeah, but soon, man. Everything's going to sync with strobe.
You ready to rate this one?
Let's rate this. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Going 3, 2.
3?
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's great. I mean, it's nice. I like it, but I don't know. It's not that wild.
Yeah. All right, next up. There's some funny business going on here. Just a lot of shadow recovery going on.
So recently, I've been doing a lot of videos on retouching and editing software-related videos. And one of the videos I recently did, I revisited the shadow highlight in Photoshop. Is that a tool that you've used in the last 10 years?
Yeah, dude, I do still use it occasionally.
Really? I haven't touched that filter in years. And I went up to it and I was like, man, this is so archaic. I remember when I used to batch all my wedding photos and pull up a little shadow, drop the highlights a little bit. And I think now just using Lightroom and all the we have like 2 sliders for the shadows, shadows and blacks. Then we have 2 sliders for the highlights, highlights and whites. It's just funny to go back to shadow highlight recovery in Photoshop and see what you can and can't do with that.
So I've read how David Jurgens took and created this. Do you have any ideas?
Does this seem that crazy? If the light is actually coming from the sunset, you would get all that backlight on the backlight on the moss. And then is it like multiple exposures or is there something weird going on?
What about the water?
Oh, the water. It's a long exposure there.
I didn't notice it either until he mentioned it.
Could it just be long enough to where shooting wide angle? This is like a 10-second exposure, right?
Yeah, the weird thing about this is that the water just doesn't look that smooth to me. But he says he took 2 images, one 30-second exposure to blur the water, and it just doesn't feel like 30 seconds. It feels like 5, but who knows about that. And then he took another one at 1/25th to get the exposure of the kid, minor dodging and burning in Lightroom only. So to me, it seems like there's been a decent amount of recovery on the kids. Like when I compare the shadow side of these girls to the shadow side of the rocks directly above them, they look a little abnormally bright to me. But it's all right. What do you think?
There's a few things that I don't like about this that I think could make it better, and that's kind of the middle of what this critique should be, is us giving advice or sharing our opinions on how to make a better photograph. I don't like all the foreground element on the top left. All of those trees just look like they're not important to the photo. I also don't love the branch or wood that's coming out, and I feel like you could just highlight that and make that moss and not feel like you're changing the photo. So I keep zooming in and wanting to get rid of the whole top left part of the image and focusing on the girls, but still getting the sunset, and then get rid of that branch. And then I feel like, is there a chance that you could just have directed them to like stand up and hold hands or dance or do something that would make them a little bit more... It feels like this is some crazy over-the-top landscape that just happens to have the kids in there. Whereas I want this to be more about them. And I like the girl with her back to us. I feel like she's doing something. But the other one's kind of just lost. I want her looking at her sister or standing up or splashing or doing something. I don't know. It kind of comes down to the difference between capturing a photograph versus creating a photograph. And I think at this stage, I enjoy creating photographs more, like actually directing and having things intentionally done. And I don't know, maybe I'm being a little too critical on this because It's just a guy taking a picture of what, his nieces? Is that what you said? His cousins?
Nieces. I was with you with everything until you had a problem with the girls. I like the girls, you know, if they're looking at the camera or dancing, it just feels like cheesy over the top to me. I don't know. This image reminds me, you remember the movie Inception? And you remember Leonardo DiCaprio keeps like going back into his dreams to see his children? And it's like you can never see the kids' faces in the dreams, and they're always kind of like playing off by themselves in the distance. It kind of feels like that to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of the trees in the upper left and then that weird branch in the bottom right, I don't love it. So let's rate it. 3, 2, 1.
I give it a 3. You're going 2. Okay.
I don't know. I'm in between a 2 and a 3. There's elements of this that I absolutely love. Part of me just wants to like get rid of the girls and zoom in and make the image, like get down a little bit lower, make the image a lot more about the moss. I'd be interested to see that maybe. But as it is right now, I can't say it's a snapshot, but I don't know. It just kind of feels a little messy.
I can't help but hear you say that and think of like, what would AI do in the near future? And they're just like, kill the kids, get them out of there. Make it more about the moss. We need less people. And then they actually go ahead and do that. And all of a sudden, AI is running our planet with no children.
Wait till you read my movie script.
Is this the great outdoors, or this is hell on earth and get me out of here? If you pull up in the parking lot and see this, does your vacation continue? Or are you like me where it instantly changes your mood and I'm like, man, I don't really want to deal with all these people?
Yeah, I mean, we are so spoiled here. We've got this like beach club in our neighborhood, and 99% of the time you go there and it'll be like 6 people in this entire gigantic area. And then every once in a while I'll go and it'll be like schools has the day off, and so all the kids from this public school are at the pool, and I just turn around and go home. I'm like, I don't want to get into that, and this definitely reminds me of that.
Well, I'm here in Charleston and it's summertime, and all the beaches are packed, traffic everywhere. There's actually this really nice pool that's on the east side, which is I never even knew that existed for decades. We just went there, but like the whole pool has got the lanes for swimming. And they're like, the kids can only play in this one little area. And so, you know, like you said, it's just I'm very thankful of the community center that we have in Puerto Rico, having experienced other places. But this is very much what destinations around the world look like in the middle of summer. Assuming this is summer, I mean, this may be somewhere where it's actually kind of cold and they're barely getting in the water. Does he say where this is?
In Krakow, Krakow. I've never heard of that in my life.
What country is that?
I think that is the country.
No.
The next word he says is Zakrozwek.
We need to look that up because I have a hard time believing that there is a country in the world that we aren't familiar with the name. That's
I don't know either of these two names. So, and I don't know. I was under the impression that I probably couldn't name the majority of countries on Earth. But anyway.
This sounds like AI too. This is like Google just saying, this is definitely in this place, and that place doesn't exist.
So he says it was created in 1992 after flooding an old limestone quarry. And people were not allowed to swim there because they could drown. And so in 2023, they made this swimming area with floating piers for a safe place for people to swim.
Wait, what now? People could just drown? And so they were like, you can't go in the water because there's a risk factor?
Okay. So it's in Poland.
Which Poland is pretty far north. So I wonder, I don't know, I'd be curious to know how hot it gets there. This feels like the middle of summer, but it doesn't feel like what I'm experiencing here in Charleston, where it's 100 degrees outside, feels like 109. It is miserable here right now.
So I'm going to upset some people with this one. Are you ready to rate it?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
I'm going 4. What are you saying? Okay.
I said 4 as well. This might be my favorite image so far. And I'm looking at the community rating here, 2.17. So this is a much hated image, but something about this I really, really like.
Look up, as a photographer, I should know this, but is it Gorski? Look up, what is the most expensive print ever sold? You know the image I'm talking about, right? It's like in a...
yeah, it's like the grass.
It's like in a... Oh, well, it might be that, but there's also the one in the grocery store. I think, is it the same photographer? Most expensive photograph, and it's not Peter Lick.
This one?
Yeah, is it the same photographer? This reminds me, what is this guy's name?
Yeah, Andreas Gursky.
Gursky. This work reminds me of his, where it just shows so much chaos or so much detail. Like this image isn't even really that chaotic. It's actually very orderly. It's just, your mind can go everywhere, but then the leading lines in this are really nice. Your eye is not drawn to any one person. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo sort of thing, where you're forced to just zoom in and look at all the people, and I don't know.
I love the direction of the lines, and then I love the different colors of the water. It's just so interesting. It just feels so artistic. So I know, there's not that much artistic about the action of taking this photograph, but the finished product, it really stands out to me. And normally I would never want pictures of people like this hanging on my wall, but to me this kind of feels like a fine art photograph.
Does he say when he took this image?
Well, it was created in 2023, so in the last 2 years.
What's wild is I feel like the people in this look so timeless. And I don't know if that's because they're in beachwear, and that is more timeless. I mean, it's not, because you know what the 50s swimsuits look like, or if it's this part of the world and it's the way that Polish people dress. But this was taken a few years ago, but this does not feel modern at all. I mean, if you zoom in, go to the middle and then zoom into the far left, there's like a bodybuilder guy in a Speedo. And he just feels like he's straight out of the 70s. Like, this doesn't feel like the 2000s, or I don't know what we call it these days, the 2020s. Like, it feels so timeless, but it's so modern in recent times. It's really cool.
All right, we've got one more image. Oh, and it's very similar.
Now, how do these get back to back?
Interesting. I don't know.
This photographer has submitted a lot of top-down drone images to our critiques, and his other images, I believe, are very symmetrical, even higher ranked. I mean, he might have one of the top-rated images. I didn't pick that one because it was just a little too simple. I don't know if you're able to see him on the website, but it's basketball players. I came across this, which was his third submission and his lower-ranked submission, but I like this one the most.
Oh yeah, his basketball image is the highest rated of the entire critique. And goodness, I love this. And what is going on here? Where are the basketball goals?
Yeah, I don't know.
He says it's called Wonder Ball. Anyway, I can't look at this one. You didn't choose it for the critique.
Now the question is do you like this one that I chose less than the one that's the highest rated?
Yes, I do like it less.
Okay. No. For me, I thought it was a little more interesting.
I mean, goodness, the guy diving in like that. And does he have his hands
yes.
by his side?
Who dives in like that? I mean, unless you're done with life.
Right. Love the lighting. We've got like a somewhat low sun that's creating cool shadows for the people that are standing on that front row there. That looks really nice. Girl in the red bikini, nice.
What's wild is it's almost all females. I mean, there's some men right up at the front that are about to jump off, I think, but it's just interesting how separated the men are from the women in this image. And then you also have the striped towels on the right. There's just like a lot of really cool things going on with this that feel like they're intentional, but like I wonder if he was directing these people to jump off, or he literally just captured this spontaneous moment.
I mean, he could have just been recording video and then he just grabbed a frame off it,
I mean, I can't imagine how you would time the shot with a guy halfway
Right.
in the water.
Right.
It's got to be a frame grab, right? I don't know. I love this. I could just see you own a beach house or a condo, or you have a rental unit, and you print this out and you put it on the wall. Like it creates conversation because somebody in the family is going to go to the girl in the red bikini like you did, but then other people are going to be like, dude, why is that guy diving without his hands in front of his face? I don't know. It just creates so much. I think this creates way more conversation than the basketball photo, even though the basketball photo is more symmetrical and it's more fine art. Maybe like there's something about this that I feel like is better. It's just more interesting.
What is your opinion on the mildewy tile on that front row?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't know the ethics.
And that would be kind of difficult to clean up.
I don't think so. I mean, it would take time, but I think you could just lasso each one of those and then just, clone in a texture or generative fill. I don't think it'd be that hard.
Yeah, the answer is always generative fill now. Just highlight that whole row and then just be like, make good. And
well,
then,
here's how I would
it to something.
Here's how I would do it. Is I would run the whole image through frequency separation. That would give you two layers. It'd give you the lower layer for color and the upper layer for detail. Most people use that for skin retouching, but for an image like this, you could completely smooth out the high detail, and that would get rid of all.
No, you don't want to smooth out the detail. Obviously, I don't have a high-res image here.
Of the front tiles?
Yeah, I don't have a high-res image here. Yeah, the front tiles, you're gonna want that crispy, detail that's in every piece of tile. You just don't want there to be mildew all over it. So if you blur it out and make it some gummy-looking mess, that's not gonna fix it.
No, I'm not saying, see the guy in the middle with his hand pointed out?
Yep.
Go straight down. There's two tiles that are really, really clean. They're the long tiles. They're like the 2x4s or whatever. You would just make it that consistency, and you'd keep the color. You'd have to change the color, but I don't know. The point is that's how I would retouch it out. And I think you could come out with some really clean tile that would look good. But I'm not saying blur anything to where it's not in focus. I'm just saying that's how you would remove the mildewy, sharp part of the image, the high frequency part of it.
And then you see the couple on the far bottom left. It looks kind of like they peed on the ground. That's also unfortunate.
The longer you look at it, the more little details like this you find.
But it's still cool. It's such a cool image. All right, let's rate it. 3, 2, 1. I'm going 3.
This is another, if you go back to the previous image, I feel like these both are right there for me. They're really cool and interesting. They're taken by different photographers. I could see you printing both of these and putting them side by side, and it feels, like a theme. Where there's very few photographers, I feel like you could take two different images from two different photographers and make them feel like they fit the room in the same way. These, I don't know, there's a lot of similarities.
Well, guys, that wraps up this critique. It is now time to choose the winners. All right, everyone, we have deliberated. Third place and the winner of a free tutorial from fstoppers.com/store. We are giving it to Nipuna Madusanka with the 3 birds. You are the winner. Send me a private message on fstoppers.com. Let me know which tutorial you would like. Second place is going to win AC/DC's Photo Studio Ultimate 2025, and we are giving it to Tim Fuchs with the Bull Elk. Congratulations. Once again, send me a private message, Lee Morris on fstoppers.com, and I will get your prize right out to you. And the winner, the first place winner, who's going to receive the Godox AD600 Pro 2, one of the best battery-powered strobes we have ever tested. We gotta give it to the pool photographer. I would love to pronounce your name. I'm gonna guess that's Paweł Weworski. I know I butchered that, I apologize. Powell, send me, Lee Morris, a private message on fstoppers.com, and we will get that mailed out to you. And if anybody is watching, if you would like to be a part of the next critique, it starts right now at fstoppers.com/contest, and the genre is abstract photography. Check it out right now, fstoppers.com/contest. See you guys next month.